Namaskar. Howdy. I'm Acharya Vimaleshvarananda Avt.
And how did you get involved, and why did you get involved with an Andamaga?
I was looking for a path in life, and I had done a permaculture course in, I think it was January 1987. I'd never heard of permaculture, and I went there and was very inspired and thought I need a spiritual base, so I would look for a spiritual path. And in March 15th, I believe, there was a program happening at Auckland University with all different spiritual groups, and I thought, oh, okay, let me go and go my alma mater and find out what turns up. And the Baha'is were there, and I got a booklet from them, and it was one of the people on the course, permaculture course, who was Baha'i, so I thought, oh, well, this sounds good. Anyway, I was looking at that, and by midday, I was thinking, oh, I'm a bit hungry, so I was vegetarian. I went upstairs to see what was there, and then there was a guy in orange who was selling spring rolls, vegetarian spring rolls. So I bought one from him and just, paid the $1, and he said, oh, would you like to learn meditation? This was, I learned his name later, Dada Manikanta. So within a couple of weeks, we arranged a time, and I went to learn there near Eden Park in Auckland, yeah. And I was doing a quite difficult contract. I was doing computer programming, so I really didn't do much meditation. I remember, like, maybe when I was with Dada learning, and one time when I was in that office and all-nighter working, I did some sadhana. And anyway, but I did that, finished that contract, and then I went to travel and to meet the people who were on the permaculture course. And I had a number of experiences, and when I came back, then I started to get more into an Andamaga. I attended, I'd only attended 1 or 2 Dhamma chakras, and then Dada just invited me to go to Australia, and I said, oh, maybe. Anyway, he booked my ticket without me knowing, and I went there, and soon enough after the UKK, the winter program in Melbourne, I was in the Melbourne Jagrati, and I was invited to do LFT training, and I did that. I don't even know I think I had a return ticket, but that lapsed. And then at the end of that, I was there invited to go to India. So December came, and I arrived on the 15th, and complete neophyte. Slept on the floor of the train coming to Calcutta from Mumbai, and went to see Baba, who was, there's really terrible quality videos were being shown during the conference, and but the feeling that people had for Baba was quite intense, and just his whole, program and what was going on with an Andamaga. I was curious. I was very curious. So I went there, and then went over to an Andanagar, and Baba was. Then I could come in the list for PC, and I'd heard stories about PC, so anyway I did the training, did all the preparation for that, and I had this was January, and I think in early January I was in the list to, there were 13 of us, and there was one other brother who was in training with me, Atmadev, and we were arranged there on the stairs at Lake Garden, and then they asked, oh, which trade are you in? I said, Prout, and they said, oh, back of the line. So, went to the back of the line, and the first 7 or 8 had got PC, including Atmadev, and then next day, in the next room, in Sugar Sector room, I got up early in the morning. I was like the sickest I'd ever been, so stomach problem, and couldn't hardly leave the room for the next 5 days. So that group all got their PC, and I was back in the in the system, and then another group formed, and a week or two later, and I was going to get PC with that group, and then I got conjunctivitis, and yeah. So anyway, I actually left Kolkata and then came back after about a month, and then it was quite quiet, in Kolkata, and then there was another small group of 5 of us, and got to go into PC here at Tildjila, and yeah, that was it was probably quite short, but Baba was very loving and accepting of this boy from Hollow Land, Holland, that he as he described it, and he said one thing that. When you were leaving your parents, they were very sad, very crying, and actually I think that was like I visited New Zealand in 2008. This is 88 by the way, I'm talking about, and it was pretty much describing the scene when my father, the last time I saw him, but he gave a blessing, and who knows what the import of that is for me, but it seemed to lead to other things. My boundaries were increasing, I would say, Later, I had an experience in Lake Gardens. I stayed for the 3 months. It was not long after that my visa ran out, so I went back to New Zealand, and got some money from the government, and with that immediately I went back to India actually, and so by the DMS, following DMS, I was back in India, and it was extremely hot, and there was one experience there. Baba had a reporting session, with, I don't know, I think it was Bhukti Pradhans, but anyway, everyone just went, and I was there, and like the third, line of people, third from the front, and then, Baba took reporting from some people, and then he didn't look directly at me, but he just said to GS, I think it was, and I figured out that he wanted me to come and answer some questions. So I came to the front, and I guess it was proud. Anyway, something to do with proud, because I was a proud LFT actually. And Baba asked 3 questions, and I remember 2 of them. One, I think the first one was Australia as a desert, and is it a hot or a cold desert? So I said, a cold desert, Baba, and. So then the last question was actually I had to ask Baba to repeat it, and as I recall, was what is the difference in the status, the socioeconomic status of the Maori of central New Zealand, and the Maori, he called the Maori of Western Australia, I think it was, Western Australia. And I couldn't answer it even after the repeat. But I heard later that it was like the Maori had, fought very bravely and courageously, and defeated even the British on occasions. So, the history played out differently in Australia, but Baba was very appreciative of the Maori anyway, in that aspect. So it was quite a privilege to have Baba giving me some attention, and giving those it makes you feel the mission, and Baba was feeling the Maori,
When you went out of his room
after PC, yes.
How did you feel?
I was kind of in another state, really. It was,
Was it a good feeling?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I was like floating, I remember Dada Vimaleshvarananda was there. He was like my sponsor at that time in the Prout department, and then he just said sit, do sadhana, and then he came back after a few minutes and he says, "Oh, Baba said something about you." I said, "Oh, what, Dada?" He said, "I cannot tell." Anyway, and many years later, I asked him, nothing important or something. Anyway, let it be a surprise. Mm.
So did you go for Dhamma's mixture or?
No, that was all over before.
Ah.
Yeah, this was 87, 88 I'm talking about, yeah.
And any other experiences you'd like to share with Baba, reporting or?
Yeah, like that was one of the reportings, and Baba that year gave a lot of attention to LFTs actually. I think it was just a window. I think next year, 89, not so much. So I was in about 3, I think every month or 2 there was reporting with LFTs. So I was there from June until almost December, and went for about 3 reportings, and with a group of international LFTs, and about maybe 15 or so, I think. And Baba gave some demonstrations there, with his stick. He touched one Philippine brother's wrist, and a very fragrant odour came. And, it was quite special to have that attention. And there was one time, we always went every day. The routine would we'd go over to Lake Gardens when Baba would, he would come out for a field walk about 4 o'clock or maybe sometime around then. And one time Baba had was out for field walk, and I was just walking, and then came back, and then Baba's car came in, so I was just outside by the gate, by the right side of the gate, and Baba came out of his car on the side, and then across the back of the car he just did a namaskar to the line of Māoris there, and I was kind of in the middle of that line. And then it's a bit beyond description, but I felt like he winked at me, and that wink kind of put me, I don't know, in the stars somewhere, I don't know, and sort of
another state.
Yeah, in another state, and then very, very briefly, and then I was sort of like, it could have been forever, but it was, like I come out and the people are still there, and I was still there and just moving on like normal.
Time stopped still.
Yeah, and the people on the side, I said, did you say that, Baba winked or something, but nobody seemed to make any sense of what I was saying. So, and I was just like, just over a year Māori by then. And then there was one other experience. There was one at Anandanagar around those times in India, and I was a very shy person. I had a lot of difficulty to speak in public, or if there was a recording of my voice, I would feel really awkward, run away, like kiirtan, sometimes, like I would, in Singapore, for instance, once I was, transiting there, and I'd been out in the city or something, and came back 2 o'clock, and everyone had finished their lunch, so I went to do, kiirtan and sadhana, and, people were walking past this Wilkinson Road, on the way to the kitchen, and I just, when I was kind of singing, I felt really, really awkward, about the people that are listening. Anyway, so once I was there in Anandanagar, I'd seen one Māori who and his friends, and they did a beautiful kiirtan, a beautiful bhav, It's an older gentleman with very, beautiful clothing, and his 2 friends also. And they, he would do this Bhavanam Kevalam, Bhavanam Kevalam, Bhavanam Kevalam, Bhavanam Kevalam, Bhavanam Kevalam, Bhavanam Kevalam. And the movement of the hands, and it felt really really special, and I thought, anyway, I didn't even speak to the gentleman, and after a day of encountering this, I was there fairly early. People were taking breakfast, and there was a tent outside Baba's house there, and those Māoris were there taking breakfast, and then I don't know, I don't even think I ate anything, but I just came out, and then I just noticed, Baba's on the roof, coming around the roof, looking at the river, looking at the scenery, and nobody was noticing. And then I thought, what to do, and so then I just started to do kiirtan, and I did that exact tune, and with that sort of bhav, I kind of, anyway, I've kind of got lost in that, and then Baba had stopped and gave namaskar, and then I just noticed then there's a number of Māoris behind me now doing kiirtan, that tune, and including that group of 3 Māoris, Indian Māoris. So that was anyway. After that time, I just didn't feel complexes about my voice, my singing. In many respects, I still have shy aspects, but I seem to be able to move on. Yeah.
How did you feel after getting Kapalik?
Well, I got Kapalik after Baba's departure. It was. I'd struggled a little bit to get to that point. I'd gone to India the previous year in '97, and I think the Dada I was working with, Satchiparananda, wanted to hold me back. But anyway, okay, you go ahead, But there was one Maori. We had a course in Oslo University, and Dada had just arrived, and I said to him, "Okay, you initiate this brother," and that brother went to training. Yeah, it was, and so I thought, okay, well, Dada can, because you have to have have a WT on your CV to get Kapalik diksha. Anyway, he seemed reluctant to do that. So anyway, I just went to India, and I didn't get it that year, but I went the following year, in December and beginning of '98, and I got that time, and I felt okay, I'm getting somewhere with my doing something in Anandamaga, and but it's not the same without Baba, of course. Like I'd gone to training actually before Baba's departure, and I didn't even go through India. I thought, no, let me go quickly and come and see Baba, as a charya. But didn't work out. After 2 months, Baba had his departure, which was a huge experience in training centre, because Dada Tabavananda and Dhruvananda were both there. And
this is in Sweden?
Yeah, in Sweden, and we just had 4 days of kiirtan for was it Deepavali, I think it was, and then we got the news, and like Tabavananda was completely broken, but the whole world was changed. Yeah.
The whole world was collapsing.
Yeah. So what do we do? Okay, just like they were doing here in Kolkata, they arranged a 7-day kiirtan. So we had basically 11 days of kiirtan. Yeah, and just at that time when I was taking diksha, I was getting arthritis pain. Yeah, it had been predicted. I'd seen a doctor in 1990 on my, at the time I went to training in Holland, and he said, you have the beginning of arthritis and it will just sort of continue, and he was right in 1990. So by 1998, I had quite severe pain. I could hardly do I couldn't do even half lotus. And anyway, I came back to Oslo, and winter, and it was like extra painful. And then, you know, there was reposting, go to South America, and I was quite reluctant, but anyway, I think Dada Satchiparananda wanted me to go anyway, and it was okay. Often I'm kind of stick in the mud. I don't move until I'm pushed, and then everything's great actually. So that's how it worked out. But I went to South America intending to, you know, had to go for a time in a master unit and kind of, you know, see what could be done, you know. And I was in the conference, and, you know, there are big conferences there, you know, and it was like, you know, maybe 300 people there in Porto Alegre, and yeah, it was great. I didn't know the language or anything. I had a dictionary or something, but you know, anyway, so many activities, you know, were going on, and then after all that, you know, I went to Belo Horizonte, where my STM department was, Severdale department was based, and yeah, and then I thought, oh gosh, I almost forgot. Yeah, I was going to go to a master unit and, you know, see how I can do it about my health. But I thought, hang on, you know, I didn't even realise that that pain had gone, yeah, and just hasn't come back, you know. And, I mean, maybe it's because it was the summer down there or something, but it's a bit extraordinary for me anyway. But I felt it was like a grace, you know, that came.
Grace.
Yeah, Baba's grace. Yeah, just you do, you know, go ahead, you know, without, you know, fussing and fighting, and get, you know, I will look after you. Yeah, and he often does that. You know, once in Lima, I was going across the road back to the Jagrati, and it was quite a busy road, maybe 5-6 lanes of, you know, traffic, and you know, I would come out onto the road and just have a look, and then I thought, no, I'll just go a little bit further, and then one of these private minivans came zooming in, you know, just where I would have stepped out, and, you know, came to a screeching halt right where I would have been, you know, and finished, you know. Anyway, I was like, oh, okay, but I was here again, you know. Anyway, it was like, I didn't, yeah, I tell people about it, but it's just like, it was just become like normal, you know. I felt that was how Baba was, you know, operating. He was going to be around, yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Namaskar.